Hey guys, welcome to The Hope That Heals You with me, Marie Nazria, where I talk about just about anything, things that I've learned, things that I want to share, and I hope that this podcast finds you well. Today I want to talk about toxic relationships. I feel like a lot of people are either in toxic relationships or have been in toxic relationships, and I think it's so important to know whether you are or you were so that you don't repeat that, because toxic relationships are so unhealthy for yourself, for the couple, for the family, etc. And it's like poison. And so, there are people who are in toxic relationships and they're just unaware. And that makes me really sad, actually. So I want to hopefully impart tools and tips to know whether you're in a toxic relationship, and how to get out of a toxic relationship. So, first of all, you could have started your relationship super healthy and just picked up some really bad habits, both parties, one party. And I think that's something that needs to be discussed and communicated. And sometimes it takes time for someone to get rid of a bad behavior. So like if you started a relationship with someone and they're super amazing and you're very happy for a year or 2 years, and then, one day one of you crosses the line and says something really inappropriate or really mean to the other, that really opens up the door for abusive communication, emotional sabotage, gaslighting, manipulation, etc. So I think it's super important to be honest about it and to work on that, whether you're the person doing it or someone's doing it to you. Because if you don't do that work, it ends up becoming a habit in the relationship, and there you are in a toxic relationship. There's emotional abuse, where someone plays on your emotions and uses your emotions when you're vulnerable against you. There's verbal abuse, there's physical abuse. And my advice is either get out because that person's not going to change, or try for a last time to really try to get to the bottom of it, or get counsel, get a counselor, get a therapist to really work out these things. I find that when people don't do the work on themselves and don't try to fix bad habits, or come from a background or a childhood that was abusive, they're not even sometimes aware of the abuse that they bring with them into their next relationship. And it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse to be in an abusive relationship. So please be mindful. Love does not conquer all. Love is a beautiful thing, and you can love your partner. But if your partner is suffering and cannot get out of their own way, and they are taking it out on you, you are in a toxic relationship. And another bad thing about a toxic relationship is when you're in it long enough, you end up becoming toxic. So I really advise that you either get help, request help. Feel free to ask me any questions like, is this abusive? Is this toxic? You really know at the bottom of your heart if something's toxic. A healthy relationship looks like supporting each other, not being vindictive and rude, not walking on eggshells, not going high-low super quickly in your day-to-day. When you are dealing with an emotionally unstable person, it destabilizes your whole life and your relationship. So please be mindful of that. It's super, super important. I believe truly that the biggest disservice you could do to you and your partner is being in a toxic relationship. When you release a toxic relationship, it actually allows that person to either go continue a toxic relationship with someone else, or stop and say, maybe I have something to work on. So it's very, very, very important. So look for markers of that. Now, there's obviously always going to be like a random flare-up where someone's really upset about something and they yell and they get upset and da-da-da. And that's okay. That's not an abusive relationship. Another way to know if you're in an abusive relationship or a toxic relationship is if you don't feel safe in your home, if you are always on guard, if you stop thinking for yourself and you start worrying about them and their reaction, etc. This is really big indicators of toxic relationships. I really hope that helps. And I really hope that if you are in a toxic relationship or you are a person that is in pain or having a really hard time dealing with something, that you go and do the work on yourself. Your partner isn't going to fix you. And that's goes into codependency and etc. Like, no one is here to fix you. You need to come to the relationship whole, or at least be doing the work to be that person, to come into the relationship whole. So if you are the person that's being toxic, you really need to work on that. It's your responsibility. You know, I know so many people where, you know, that one person in the relationship says something mean about the mother-in-law, and then that gives the right to the other partner to say something mean about your mother. And it just, it's a slippery slope, and it piles up, and it can very quickly become a toxic relationship. So really mind your own, really try your best to fix your side of the street, clean your side of the street. If your partner needs help, gently, lovingly say, you know, babe, we got to fix this. We got to talk about this. Like, this doesn't work. This makes me feel unsafe, etc. Please let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I really hope that you are not in a toxic relationship. And if you are, you have the courage to leave it. Please let me know if I can do anything, and subscribe below. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.